Hello students, today in this session of the chemistry we are going to discuss about the contact process, that is manufacturing of sulfuric acid. It is the topic of P block elements of class 12. Now before moving ahead, let's have a glance on a diagram of the manufacturing of H2SO4 by contact process. Now in this contact process we have the few things which we need to keep in our mind, that is the principle behind the contact process. Principle is what? The sulfur dioxide which we obtain by burning of sulfur or iron pyrites, in that SO2 gets released. That SO2 further gets converted into SO3, and SO3 which gets formed is dissolved in sulfuric acid to get the oleum. Oleum is also called as the pyrosulfuric acid. It is also called as the pyrosulfuric acid, which is again diluted with water to get the sulfuric acid for required concentration. Now in this particular contact process, the very essential part is what? That how we can obtain the maximum yield of the SO3. The first thing which we require to maintain is the temperature. The temperature should be between 400 to 500 degrees Celsius so that reaction takes place at a reasonable speed. Then it is pressure. The pressure requirement is a very high pressure to favor the reaction towards the forward direction, and mostly it is given around 2 atmosphere. Another is your excess of oxygen. A slight excess of oxygen in the reaction mixture of SO2 and O2 favors the reaction towards the forward direction. We can obtain the best results when the ratio of O2 and SO2 is in the ratio of the 3:2. Another one is catalyst. That catalyst we require to maintain the reasonable reaction, as it is a highly exothermic reaction. Previously we used to use the Fe2O3 with a little amount of copper oxide, then platinum and MgSO4, and nowadays we are using the V2O5. The increase in the use of the V2O5 is due to because it is cheaper and not easily poisoned, but of course it have a drawback also, that we cannot recover the V2O5 after its use. Now these are the following main reactions of the complete contact process. This and the main apparatus of the contact process consists of the 4 parts, that is your sulfur burner, purification unit, preheater, or you can say contact tower, and the last one is the absorption tower. Now let's look the diagram again. Now over here the first step is what? That is your for the sulfur burners, that is this one. This is the sulfur burner. Over here what happens, that SO2 gets produced from the sulfur or iron pyrites. The SO2 which is produced over here, it goes in the purification chamber. These are the purification chambers. Now over here what happens, the gases which are produced over here along the sulfur dioxide, they get purified over here. The reason being that From the burner, when sulfur dioxide is being produced, it consists sulfur dioxide 7%, oxygen 10%, nitrogen 83%. But along the gases there are few other impurities also. For example, sulfur dust, H2SO4 fog, and others too. Now what we do over here, we need to purify these impurities. To purify these impurities, following steps are taken. The first chamber over here, in this particular chamber, this one, in this chamber we require to remove the dust. Basically the heavy dust particles get removed over this chamber. Then the zigzag one, these are the cooling pipes. Now over here what happens, that gases they are get transferred to further chamber, and over here they get cooled up to 100° C. Then it is the cooled gases, they are sprayed over here only, and that is your scrubber. Over here what happens, the SO2 gas, it do not get absorbed, but by water at high temperature the other gases get absorbed. Now the second part comes your drying tower. This is the drying tower. Over here moisture carried by the gases from scrubbers is removed by concentrated H2SO4, and this tower is packed with the coke. Then it gets transferred to the arsenic purifier. This is the arsenic purifier. Over here it contains the precipitated ferric hydroxide placed horizontally, and it helps to absorb arsenic oxide. Then from here it is being transferred to the testing box. This is the testing box. The strong beam of light over here is given, and that light role is to check whether there is the presence of any impurity or not. Now finally whatever the gas is being produced, it comes to your contact chamber. Now in this contact chamber, this one is the contact chamber. Over here all gases are sent to the preheater, and gases are heated up to 400 to 500° Celsius. Hot gases enter into an iron cylinder, which is called a contact chamber or converter. This particular is the cylinder part. Now there are tubes which are packed with platinized asbestos. These are the platinized asbestos tubes. These are the tubes which are packed with the platinized asbestos, which act as a catalyst, and gases circulated around tube, and SO2 gets converted into a SO3. Over here the reaction becomes highly exothermic in the nature, and we require a catalyst also. Now after this the final steps comes, that is your in the absorption tower. This last one is the absorption tower. Over here whatever the amount of SO3 is being obtained from contact process comes here and meets the descending steam of concentrated H2SO4. It forms, now if you look from this nozzle, the steam comes of the H2SO4, it comes in contact with the gas and it gets converted into a oleum, which is also called as a pyrophosphoric acid, and then it gets diluted with the calculated amount of water to get the H2SO4 of required concentration. In this manner what we do, we obtain your H2SO4 by contact process. This is the process, complete process in a written form, which I explained to you all. Purifier, then dust remover, and then at last your absorption unit. With this we complete the contact process.